Hello, class, and today my leadership story is going to be about a very particular experience I had in my undergrad when I was a mentor up at UConn. First off, I want to lead off by talking about my first paper in OL 500 about what is leadership. And I defined it as leadership is a concept that is impactful and constantly adapting to a given situation. And I still hold true to that definition of it. One specific example I have of this is when I was in my undergraduate, I did a mentorship at UConn that worked with kids that were on academic probation and not in a good position for academic growth and things of that nature. I personally was on academic probation and was in the program as a mentee and then made the transition over to being a mentor. So I have a very big passion for helping these kids. So I used to pick up extra shifts. And it really helped me define my career of now working at Goodwin University and wanting to become an academic advisor in the future and being able to help students. Now, it was a Friday shift, which normally Friday shifts, you're just chilling. Nobody really comes in. Everybody's getting ready for the weekend. You have some people that come in, maybe ask simple questions here and there about, can I sign up for this workshop next week or this or that? And I'm just sitting there, moseying on my phone and things like that. And it's getting towards midterms. And I have a student walk in, peek their head in, look, and only see me, and then turn around and walk out. And I was like, "Are you okay?" I don't hear anything, but I hear the feet stop outside. So I get up and I poke my head out the door. And I see this young girl and I'm like, were you looking for somebody? Sloan, which was my supervisor at the time, I was like, she'll be back in a couple of minutes if that's what you're looking for. And the girl just, she goes, no, I'm not looking directly for her. I'm like, okay, well, can I help you with something? And the girl goes, well, do you do academic help? I was like, yes, I'm here. I can help in whatever way possible. Yeah, I don't know if you need to do a study plan or this and that. And she's like, no, I just want to talk. So we end up sitting down and she's jittery, she's very nervous, and she starts talking about how, she is so nervous about trying to get into the pharmacy school, but she just took one exam and she didn't feel so hot about it, and she's about to take another, and these both were worth 35% of her grade, and she felt like the world was crashing down, and she just got an exam back from a third class that didn't go so good. And immediately in that situation, it brought me back to the finals period just a year and a half prior to that, when I was getting back in between my last two finals. I got back a finals grade that I failed, and that sealed the deal for me, knowing I was going to be dismissed. And as soon as I heard her just have that drop in her voice, I could directly relate. I remember that hollow, that pit of sadness that she was feeling. And I told her, I'm like, listen, okay, what you need to do right now is you need to sit down, you need to clear your mind of everything else, and you need to go about the rest of your finals and do the best that you can. This is my contact information. You can call me, you can text me when you get your results back, and I can help you move forward with what you're going to do, because this would have put her on probation and she would not have been able to apply for the pharmacy school. So, she thanks me, she appreciates it and everything. And then winter break goes by. I don't hear anything. I come back in the beginning of the semester to get my schedule, and my boss, my supervisor Sloan, she's like, "Oh yeah, there was a girl coming in here. She said she wanted to talk to you specifically." And I was like, "Okay, well, did you told her my schedule?" And she was like, "Yes." She said she's probably gonna come in later today when you have your shifts. So later on, I come in for my shifts, and the girl comes back in, and she ends up telling me that she did not do good on her exams and that she was on probation. and she was looking for guidance on how to get out of it. And then I ended up telling her, I was like, listen, I was in your position before, okay? I understand that feeling. Now I'm going to help you get out of it. Because me personally, I saw, between seeing the emotions that she had and knowing this is what I wanted to do with my career and help these students, I just had to spring into action. It's all about making that. I started telling her it's all about making that transformation, in whether it's your weekly habits of studying, whether it's socially, maybe cutting down on how much time you're spending with friends and focus a little bit more on study time, or maybe taking some time that you need to clear yourself, because sometimes people fill up their schedules with too much stuff and they can't decompress. Or it could just be maybe you need to switch to majors. Maybe pharmacy is something that is not your end path, which was the same thing for me, that I tried going into engineering and I realized that was not for me. And I ended up taking up psych and sociology. Now I work at a university. So after telling her these things, and trying to paint a picture and give her the footwork that I used to relate and to help her get her ball rolling, I would meet with her once a week, and she would go over the progress with me of the academic stuff, and also would talk about social things that were going on in her life between her parents and her sorority and things like that. And as the relationship went on, it was just like I said in my definition, it was about adapting to different situations. So the beginning of the semester, once it was getting the basic academic stuff down. Okay, you're going to study on this day, and that day. We would do that. However, finals would come up and you have to adapt that weekly schedule that you have. And it would be about making like a 5-day study plan and talking about, okay, you need to get this, and this done. Okay. If you can't, then you need to put in more time the following day to study this and that. And making sure she was best suited to get out of the academic probation and to get to a better spot academically. And by the end of the semester, she did. She got to back into good standing academically, and actually ended up switching to a health science program rather than trying to just do pharmacy. And, it is one of those things to where you gotta bob and weave. You gotta go with it. You gotta move with every situation that's happening, because you gotta adapt. Not every single situation is the same. Just like any of the students that I mentored were not the same. However, then seeing this girl go from being on probation, this scared girl that, I didn't even think was going to contact me back, ended up going to me first semester and coming to my graduation and telling me how much of an impact I had on her, which I still text her and talk to her to this day. So that is definitely a leadership story that I will carry with me for the rest of my life.